Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to ATI Auto Transport, the car shipping business channel. My name is Jay. My goal every Tuesday night is to bring you another trade show level business presentation to you wherever you are, because your automotive business deserves the latest in transportation news. And if you're busy, and I know you are, in a few minutes, I'm going to give the welcome show lineup. You're going to know what to expect. You're going to be able to click on video time code descriptions in the video below. Give about 48 hours after we go live to get those updated. Thanks for watching ATI. Please do leave a comment, share, subscribe, tell your friends, join the live chat. So what's DIESELGEDDON? All right, so are we on the precipice of another shortage disaster? What are we talking about? Everything from drill baby drill to Russia, Ukraine, EV, biodiesel, production, refineries. Where are we? Well, tonight's topic was picked by our very own Ty Thompson of Cars on the Move just a week ago. He said, we're all seeing this. It's going to get worse. It could get way worse. We need to talk about it. And so to help us do that, we've got in about an hour from now, we got Paul Machin as our feature segment. He's going to give a 15-minute presentation on statistics as he sees them. And then Joe Bercari of Midwestern Car Carriers, he's going to join us and shed more light on his point of view as a business owner and macroeconomics extraordinaire. And then we're going to open up into a panel discussion with Andy Hall of Holman and Sandro Ingles of Transauto, and it's going to get lively. So, what do you think is happening? And what are the many ways this affects you? We want to know. Please join the live chat, ask your questions, share your thoughts, grow your business. It's ATI. It's Tuesday nights live. I'm Jay, your host. Welcome back to the show. What's happening, everybody? Thank you so much for taking the time to join us again on another Tuesday Nights Live. Again, my name is Jay, and we are here with DIESELGEDDON. So we actually have a lot to talk about. What I should do is just go ahead and jump right in. Oh, you know what I need to do? I want you to feel welcome. Please do feel welcome. Please do jump in the live chat. This is a safe zone. We can talk about everything. Dispatchers, brokers, carriers, dealers, auctions, tech, insurance, equipment, regulations, whatever you want. We'll do that. You're free to do that. There are no stupid questions. And even if they are stupid, we'll still answer them. That's what we do on ATI. We have a lot to cover. So please do say hello. Put it in the live chat. Promote your company, promote your running lane, your business, ask a question. We'll share phone numbers, emails with you. You don't have to share yours. Share your website, whatever it is. Promote yourself. This is Auto Transport. We're going to go into industry news here in about 10 minutes. Industry news is probably about a 30-minute segment. Plus, we have the Larry questions. Lots to talk about. So we'll get into that. And then we're going to bring in Ty, and we're going to find out, what is DIESELGEDDON, dude? DIESELGEDDON? Really? We have to do that? Yeah, we have to do that. Is it coming? I don't know what's going to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring in Paul Machin first. He's from Black Book. He's got like a 15-minute presentation and of statistics and information. If you don't know, if you haven't seen if this is your first time at ATI, you are in luck because, man, when Paul takes the stage, there's some serious knowledge being thrown down. There'll be stuff that you didn't know. There'll be new information. Same thing with Joe Bercari. In fact, we've done this before. We've started with Paul, then we add Joe, and 30 minutes later, your mind is exploding. It's a wonderful thing, and that's why we'll start to ramp it down a little bit. But we're going to have a lively discussion panel. We've got Andy Hall of Holman. We've got Sandro Inglaze of TransAuto, and plus me and Ty. So we'll have the six of us in the discussion panel. That's on screen. But you're welcome. Do jump in the live chat, say hello, ask a question. Love that. And actually, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go into the live chat right after this and say hello. And you know that you can help us out. Please do. Please leave a like. If you got an extra one, leave one. We'll take it. We would love that. And in return, what we want to do is we want to help you out. If you really, if you found, yeah, you've seen there's some great videos out there. But then there's some that aren't. And if you get confused, we want to help. So here's what we want to do. There we go. There's Ty's phone number. 417, just going to put it in the live chat. 417-483-2764. Are you lost in car shipping? What is hot shot, right? What is hot shot? Should I get a semi? Should I get a dually? Should I just get out? All those things can be answered when you talk to Ty. So do me a favor, stick around because right after this, we're going to go into the live chat. I want to talk to you.
Everybody wants to be part of a bigger story. Auto transport is a vital part of that story. Vehicle reconditioning starts when your transport arrives at the dealership. The story starts with you. For our auto retail customers, as yours, full satisfaction.
Rapid Recon is transparent communication through vehicle reconditioning software and auto remarketing process management for car dealers. Tell your story, people, process, software. Visit rapidrecon.com. There's also white papers to learn more about how that whole cycle, how you can benefit from all of the things that Rapid Recon does. And I have to say, I really appreciate Rapid Recon's patience. We tried to go live last week, and the stream crashed. I couldn't even do a show. So Rapid Recon, not only do they have a lot to offer, they're extremely patient people. So that's pretty cool. Let's go into the live chat. Hey, what's up, live chat? I'm going to back this up to the top. Let's see here if I can do this here. Again, yes, I am remote. I am remote. I am live, and I'm on the move. This is where Ty gets his car shipping business news. Yeah, man. Tuesdays is news day. All day long, I'm scouring the news. That way it's as fresh as it can be, you know? Okay. Oh, hey, Kimberly is here. Welcome to Tuesday Nights Live. Please let us know if it's your first time. Ask your questions, share your thoughts, grow your business, join the community. Thank you, Kimberly. So Kimberly will have the links in the live chat. If you got a question, if you need a repeat, she is here to help out. Hey, we got Ben at Super Dispatch in the live chat. What's going on, Ben? Let's see here. What else? Yeah, this is going to be a crazy topic. DIESELGEDDON. DIESELGEDDON. Pull up King Fitness. First time listener, long time caller, ECS Midwest. We are a new authority MC. Extremely excited to be here. We run 2 to 3 car enclosed sundowners. Hey, what's up? See how, man, that's great. Thank you for good job for putting your company name, your equipment, you know, running lane information. That's awesome. Thank you. Keep doing that. I encourage everybody to do that because this is the thing is, Ty and I will have these random phone calls. We don't talk, on a regular basis. This isn't a corporation. But when we do talk, we talk about things like, yeah, I mean, we know every large business and tech company is looking for more carriers, every single one. How do they meet new carriers? What a question. I don't know. I don't know. Is the answer ATI? Ollie Dispatch is here. Hey, what's up, man? What's up, Ollie Dispatch? Thanks for tuning in, saying hello. Paul Machin is in the live chat, ready to go. That's excellent. Douglas is here. What's up, Douglas? Thank you for tuning in and saying hello. I know, seems like another small crowd. We're still playing coffee shops. Can't tell you why. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But that's fine. We're going to keep cranking out amazing content. And here's the thing is, all right, fair enough. Really long show, and this DIESELGEDDON information is getting around, and that's why we're doing the show tonight, because we're like, man, we've got to do a show right away, because got to jump on this, get the information out there. What do we know? What don't we know? What do we think we know that we don't know? So you got, what do you know? What don't you know? What do you think you know that you don't know? And what do you not know that you don't know? So I think those are the four. What's up, JT? What's happening? Thanks for saying hello. Sure do appreciate it. And if you don't want to say hello or anything, you don't have to. We understand that too. Or if you're watching on demand and you don't want to comment, all right. I confess. There's a lot of videos that I watch. I don't say anything. I don't even hit like, and I'm saying it because it's got to be part of, it's just part of it. So, but when I do leave a like, I sure do mean it. I think that's one of the things. I think likes are a stronger currency now than we even realize. And in fact, in the Johnny Depp trial, there I talked about it again. I don't think we got to watch a few minutes today, but I always learn something, and that is that they were putting on the this was yesterday, the weight of hashtags and how that affects people and society and Q scores, which is your popularity. And whoa. So, man, every like we can get, every share we can get, every view we can get, we love it. We appreciate it. And we have a purpose. Our purpose is to help raise the bar of communication and education in the auto transport industry. I know it's something everybody wants. We know it. We go to the trade shows. The dealers want it. The OEMs want it. The auctions want it. Shoot, the car hauling business owners want it. Car hauling business owners would really prefer that their drivers spend less time on Facebook arguing and more time like learning about, what's happening, what's going on with technology, what's happening with digital auctions versus physical auctions. And then it's not just laughing about which Carvana vending machine is going to fall into the ground. There's so much more to focus on and learn. That's why we do industry news. Jay, what are you talking about? You got industry news coming up next. So that's what's going to happen. So in a couple minutes, we've got industry news. So please stick around, because we'll be right back.
Transport Auto Quoter is by far the leading auto quoting software on the market, and the only auto quoter with a pro version that comes preset with accurate pricing for anywhere in the U.S. So you don't have to worry about it. The best part is that no change with your current software is needed. Just plug TAQ in and start booking jobs. Carriers can easily plug TAQ into their current websites and start making money right away. I bet you're wondering how we do this instantly and accurately 24/7. Well, constant analytics is the key. Our Price Watch team is constantly monitoring current market conditions, paying close attention to seasonal and quick-moving industry changes. At the end of the day, it takes a lot of time and data to maintain good pricing, time that most of us just don't have on a daily basis. So free yourself up. Using TAQ Pro is really a no-brainer. Save time and money, maximizing your leads and optimizing your online investments. You'll finally be able to sleep well at night knowing that TAQ is on the job selling for you 24/7. Never missing a potential job.
So you need an auto shipping software quoting system that you can trust, and you can provide instant, accurate quotes online 24/7 with Transport Auto Quoter by Superflow Systems and Move with Pro ABD CRM. Visit transportautoquoter.com and superflowsystems.com. And shout out to Holly at Iconic Logistics. Listen, this isn't just for, even if you're a carrier, and you're like, I could probably use a better way to give faster, accurate quotes when anytime. Well, Transport Auto Quoter is that system. And we're going to be talking about, Joe's going to share more information about fuel surcharge pricing. So let's get to it. Let's get to industry news. By the way, mic check, just making sure. Okay, I think we're good. And wow, how nice is it to have internet again? Oh man, it's incredible. Man, you don't realize what you lost until you don't have it. I think that's the bumper sticker. All right, this is episode 243 in a row. And last week counts because we were live for a little bit. So on a Tuesday night, 243 shows, started in 2017, and now we're here. We didn't know. I was hoping to be like show 2000, but it's show 243 that we're going to do Dieselgeddon. Now, what in the world is Dieselgeddon all about? Well, I've got some random stuff here. This is from this is a carrier. This is what he spent the other day on 101 gallons. He's in for 564.57. Okay, and everyone's like, yeah, I know. I'm paying $5 a gallon too, Jay. All right, yeah, but how about this one? Have you seen this one? That you're limited to 70 gallons on diesel. That you don't want to see. Yeah. And so overall, this guy's trip, so on the 100 gallons, he got 652 miles. 652 miles. I think that was anyways. Yeah, no, you're in for some money there. And Sherry, we want to know, what are you paying right now? What are you paying? What are you paying? Where are you paying it? How much are you filling up? And are you seeing signage that you can't get something? Is there something you can't get? We want to know. So please share that. Are you getting these email messages about supply, demand, availability? I want to see that too. You can send it to me. Send in the news, autotransportintel@gmail.com. I'll put that in the live chat. Here we go. So you can email me, because I really do. I want to know what you're seeing. I realize most of our audience is on the East Coast. Like 2/3. 2/3 of the people that watch this show and participate in this show, I think, are East Coast. And in fact, that's where it's supposed to be worse. So let me know. Northeast may run so low on fuel within the next week or two that stations in the entire region could go to allocations, and pockets of the Northeast may be completely out of fuel. Like, wow. That's the Dieselgeddon that Ty was talking about. Man, I don't want to see that. We look at the entire ecosystem. You know that. It costs us viewers, because there are some folks that are like, dude, I'm just interested in my vertical. Well, we're building the bridges across the verticals, and that's a tricky thing to do. But tonight's show, carriers and equipment with fuel, right? We're going to this is a pretty carrier centric stuff, because it affects everything else, right? And we know that too. Will we see it? Are we going to see delays in shipping and shortages and whatnot? I don't know. I hope not. Back of the store, front of the store, transport parking lot to the sales. We'll talk about it. It's industry news. For example, this guy says it took his sixth grader 24 minutes to diagnose the Carvana problem. They would need to scale back to 7,000 employees or increase sales to 300,000 units per quarter. Interesting. Very interesting. So much Carvana stuff. This will actually be a Carvana News Light show, because there's so much diesel stuff. And that's how it works too, right? If you become the topic of the day, just wait 24 hours. It'll be something else. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to see here. Oh, dang it. Carvana laid off 2,500 employees last week. Well, no, that was already 2 weeks ago. It's old news. This isn't going away, though. This Carvana dealer's license suspension stuff. Yeah, when people order cars and then they can't drive them because they don't have the paperwork. Yeah, the car. We got. They're on the phone. Yeah, we got the car. We have the physical car. It's in the driveway. My husband's washing it for the third time today. But we don't have any paperwork. Are you sure we can drive it? We can't drive it? Oh, that's not good. Let's see. Oh, but Carvana is down, but far from out. So stay tuned. In fact, this curve, if this curve looks like all the other curves, good to go. Oh, well, that's not nice, is it? Objection, speculation. Hey, this is broker to carrier. Are you available? I can pick up Saturday. Hey, okay, I'll get my customer. I'll get back to you. How much do you need? I need 1,200. Can you give me a discount? Can you get me $3 on diesel? What time can you do it tomorrow? Oh, but wait. Oh no, man. My guy says he can only do it for 11.50. I mean, just a $50 discount. I'll dispatch it. Nope, I need 1,200. Oh, come on. $30, $20, $5, chicken nuggets? Nah. All right, now I'm gonna skip this one, dude. You have a good day. Thanks for playing. Diesel rationing could hit the East Coast this summer. There we go. That's what we saw. Oh, that was Friday the 13th. Well, that sucks too. East Coast could face worsening diesel shortage. Okay. So this guy quoted United Refining Company produces 70,000 barrels of petroleum products each day. This sounds like a lot. Sounds like a lot. Is it a lot? I don't know. In the grand scheme, I wouldn't be surprised to see diesel being rationed on the East Coast this summer. Right now, inventories are low. We may see shortage in the coming months. Carriers and owner operators, especially those in already slim margins. Ooh, carriers and owner operators, especially those in slim margins, are already struggling to keep up with rising diesel prices. This is the cliff. Might be carrier geddon or owner operator geddon. Drivers will pay the highest gasoline prices ever paid for Memorial Day. Ooh, when is that? What's that? This weekend? Send it in. Send me your news. National diesel inventory the lowest in 17 years. No, that's not good. Several truck stop chains, fuel providers have commented on the possibility of rationing. So I called it was either a Love's or a Flying J. I think it was a Love's in Ohio based on a video that I'd saw, based on shortages and this and that, like that sign. No problems. I was on the phone. I wasn't there. No problems over the phone. We'll get to that. Big short investor Michael Burry warns stocks will crash and rallies won't last. Here's a roundup of his recent tweets and what they mean. Now, if you haven't seen The Big Short, have you seen The Big Short? That movie's amazing. This guy, this guy's amazing. He's just an individual. See, most of us here, we're just individuals. We may work somewhere, but we're still really who we are. We're not really, when we finish work, we represent our company at times, but you know, what we truly believe and feel and think, it might just be our own. This guy is one of us, Michael Burry. So the pandemic crash was just the start. Okay, so he's talking about the S&P 500. Now, I'm not a Wall Street guy. Big shocker. But this, he looks for trends. And he found a trend. 81, 2000. And yep, we're coming back. Here we go. Oh, we're coming back up. We're coming back up. The S&P 500 has rebounded strongly from the pandemic crash in spring 2020. However, it could plummet by 54% in the next few years. Seeing the trends, guys. Yeah, historical patterns. So, switching gears, this is from ATRI. They do a great job with getting feedback on what's going on in the industry. And yes, the driver, number 3 top concern. I mean, the only things above it are driver compensation and truck parking, which truck parking sucks. And then detention, which doesn't apply to auto transport. So there you go, fuel prices. Fuel prices above ELD. Yeah, that's just the driver. Truckload spot rates tank faster than fuel costs. What does that mean? Here we go. Jay, you're in the way again. Contracted freight is heavily biased towards the larger shippers and carriers as they have the scale and infrastructure that makes having set rates more efficient. Smaller fleets get an opportunity to haul these loads when the rejection rates start to climb. Essentially, they get the overflow, the leftovers. Small carriers grab a lot of these rejected loads on the spot market as they are not, and in auto transport, we know onesies and twosies that are way off route because they're not large enough to form ongoing relationships with some of the largest shippers, which we also know is a challenge. That's why you want to talk to everybody. Over the past 2 years, smaller operations have become dependent on spot volumes and elevated rates. Even though there are a few people who expect freight to move at such overheated levels forever, it is very difficult to know how to grow your operation sustainably in this environment. And there we go. With equipment shortages prevalent, here we go. So a 3-year-old unit, you can't see it. 3-year-old unit has gone from 54 grand to 140 grand. Yeah, everything's gone up. So you want to do this. You can go to loves.com/fuel updates. Okay, get your fuel updates. That's a web page. There's an app, Loves Connect app. Do that. And then also you want to do this. Go to pilotflyingj.com/fuel prices. Go there. You can find this on their websites, and you can get their rates as there as well, fuel prices. And this is pretty cool too. If you don't have the app Gas Buddy, you can get this app, Gas Buddy. I haven't used it, but it looks like it's pretty cool. Looks pretty cool. I saw somebody was doing some research. EIA.gov has weekly retail and gas prices by region, city, and state. And it doesn't take you very long. Even that 6th grade daughter could probably get the trend here in about 5 seconds. Yeah, it's going up. It's going to keep going up. And if it keeps going up at this rate, so you went up 0.1, almost 0.1, 0.1, another 0.1, ooh, maybe 0.15, another 0.1, ooh, that's week over week, 0.1. Not good. They say it's a penny. Well, it's a lot more than a penny when you add them up. Oh, here we go. Let's roll the video. Who wants to see a crazy video? Video speaks for itself. Your Honor, I present the video.
My name is Shamik Konar. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for Pilot Flying J. We operate the largest network of travel centers in the United States, serving the U.S. trucking industry and four-wheel customers. We currently account for approximately 20% of the country's highway, or as we call it, over-the-road diesel supply, 20%, as well as 30% of the diesel exhaust fluid supply, also known as DEF. Similar to my colleagues here, Pilot is facing a threat of severe reduction in rail service allocations. For Pilot, the service reduction allocations are being imposed by the Union Pacific Railroad. On April 13th, we were informed by the Union Pacific that we were required to reduce shipments by 26%. In subsequent conversations, we were asked to reduce them even further by 50% or face embargoes. We're not aware of any other company being instructed by the Union Pacific or any other railroad to reduce their shipments to the extent they're asking Pilot. We understand through conversations with the Union Pacific that its allocations are based on a simplistic approach of looking at those shippers who have increased their number of shipments between January 2022 and March 2022. This does not take into account the overall number of shipments received at Pilot's facilities, which, by the way, have remained static over this period. We believe the Union Pacific's approach does not fairly and proportionately allocate the supply issues, because Pilot has not increased the total number of cars it's received every month since January. What's actually happened is Pilot has become a shipper on for some cars that we were not shippers before. So our facilities are still receiving the same number of cars. It's just the
Okay, all right. So I'm going to stop the video there. But I think food for thought among the other. Boy, we got a whole buffet of food for thought here tonight. Do me a favor. Go ahead and send in your comments. Send it to autotransportintel@gmail.com. Jump in the live chat. Put it down below. But we do want to hear from you. We want to know what you're thinking. This is how you get your car shipping business news. It's on ATI. We sure do appreciate you being here. Put it up on the big screen. Oh, okay. So here I learned something. I did some testing. I tried like heck to get the drum roll to go through on the phone. So we're gonna do the Larry questions without the drum rolls and all the clapping and all that stuff. And that's unfortunate, although maybe somebody likes it better. I like all that stuff. But here we go. Ready? Question 1. Are you a car shipping guru? Here we go. Which state in the U.S. has the largest underground oil reserves? Is it California, Florida, North Dakota, or is it Texas? Now, you have to submit to win because we don't. Oh, you know what we're going to do? Oh, right. We don't have it dispatching live on Thursday, so we'll do the answers on Friday on Cars on the Move. That's never been done before. Wow. Okay, so let's make a note of that. We're going to do the Larry answers on Friday. How cool is that? California, Florida, North Dakota, or Texas? Which one is it? U.S. largest underground oil reserves. You're right. I mean, right? Does it even matter? How about that? Does it matter if we've got large underground oil reserves in the U.S.? Does it even matter? Does anybody care? Hello? I don't know. All right, here we go. Question 2. What is the most appropriate carrier pay amount to ship a 2020 Toyota Camry from Smithtown, New York to Gulfport, Mississippi? Is it $655, $900, $1,255, or $1,580? Okay, it's a 2020 Camry. The rates suck, but you might get a couple nuggets out of them because there is a diesel problem. Oh, it's on the east, starting in the east, New York to Mississippi, which when you go down, when you head south, that usually sucks too. Meaning if you're going north, you can usually get a little bit more, I think. Or is it the other way around? Dang it. It's a Camry. I think I smell 900. I'm pretty sure I smell 900. Put your answers in. Go to dispatchcenter.com/ask Larry. Question 3. Here we go. Which country in the world has the largest underground oil reserves? Is it Russia, China, Venezuela, or Saudi Arabia? Does it matter? Oh, man. This is going to be a crazy show. You know, most shows have almost no political relevance. Well, we can kind of keep the wall, but this show, oh man, I haven't seen Go Brandon in a while, by the way. Okay, Jay. Question 4. What is the most appropriate carrier pay amount to ship a 2013 Ford Mustang from Hopewell, Virginia to San Lorenzo, California? It's a Ford Mustang. It's used. Virginia to California. I promise you it's not 1705. That I can tell you. I mean, you know, that might be the most appropriate, but that's not what's going to happen. I don't know what it is. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's just all the Kool-Aid and the cheerleading out there. Man, rates are never going up. I don't know what happened, dude. I really don't. I don't know what happened. I mean, if you have a good rate, if you get a good rate, don't tell anybody. Nothing. You can't tell anybody. In fact, one could argue. Wait, what did Alexander Zelensky? Question. I'm coming from last week. Where can I look at load board before activating MC? Because I want to see how market looks like in terms of prices, places. That's a good point, Ty. Well, you can watch Dispatching Live, but we don't have. Joe's going with 219. All right, here we go. Question 5. How many barrels of Alberta tar sands oil was the Keystone XL pipeline expected to transport per day to the Gulf of Mexico? Now, if you haven't shouted LGB yet, and there's not a T and a plus and a Q and an R and all that stuff, is it over 100,000, over 200,000, over 500,000, or is it a whopping over 800,000 barrels of Alberta tar sands oil that the Keystone XL pipeline was expected to transport per day? By the way, that is right now, what is it at 0? Something like that. Now, I have a map of the pipeline. I don't understand. But clearly this is I don't even think this relates to drill. Is this drill baby drill? I think drill baby drill is different. There's so many weapons on the table on this thing. I know you can't make gun jokes, right? There was another shooting today, but everybody loves guns, so I don't know. I don't know what you do. All right, let's just call it a day. I don't have my punch with me. And I'm just going to keep moving on because I've already thrown several Molotov cocktails and I'm just going to keep going. It's like a minefield. You just got to keep going. Hey, what's up, Carlos, man? Thank you so much for tuning in, saying hello. I'll tell you what, we'll be right back after this, so stick around.
Are you completely stressed out from all the calls and the contracts and the verification of loads when nobody answers the phone? Call Murphy Auto Dispatch Services today. Murphy Auto Dispatch Services has over 15 years of experience in the transport industry. We are your office while you are on the road. We book, we verify, and we bill out your loads for you. We have an excellent accounting staff and an even better dispatch team. Give us a call today at 417-273-0021. Or if you want to email me, it's murphyautotransport31@yahoo.com. Give us a call today.
So, do you need help staying loaded or moving a car or finding out the rate of what's going on the load boards right now? That's the voice of Sue. She is a fully licensed broker. She's my co-host on Dispatching Live, and she runs an office where they help carriers stay loaded. Go to murphyautotransportservices.com, and links in the live chat. So thank you very much. All right, here we go. It is now time for Industry News Part 2. Auto IMS says that quarterly auction industry metrics point to a spring bounce. There it is, it's a bounce. All signs point to a more normal, although perhaps slightly delayed, spring bounce, according to recent Q1 industry metrics prepared by Auto IMS, a firm that analyzes detailed data from its roster of auction clients nationwide. Okay, good. That's good news. Let's see if we got more good news here in the hat. Half of all regional haul trucks could go electric. Now that's half? Really? That's pretty wild. That's a wild claim. Roughly half of all U.S. and Canadian Class 8 tractors engaged in regional haul could switch to battery electric technology today with minimal or no impact on operations. Do you believe that? Do you think that's amazing? These trucks have a range of about 200 miles and improving total cost of ownership when monetizing all benefits. Right? Okay. Half the trucks on the road stay within 200 miles. Plus you got all that drayage. Interesting stuff. Will they? I don't know. Why Honda Acura dealer showrooms may shrink. We got shrinkage. America's Honda. Says Honda, considering ways to make its retailer business more efficient, including leaner inventory and small showrooms. Now, I realize it's a snooze fest, but wait a minute. We're talking about automotive inventory at dealerships. That means auto transport. That definitely means auto transport. American Honda Motor Co. reassessing how much brick and mortar space its dealers will really need in the future to sell vehicles in an era of smaller inventories and digital retail. It's definitely going to affect auto transport. No details of the automakers considering, but asked to have the size of showrooms that can hold every make and model. Is that really necessary going forward? The dealer networks will be more disciplined about selling into their pipelines to keep business moving forward. That means communicating production dates and estimated arrival times to their customers. Boy, if someone would just be honest about the complexity of auto transport. By now, having a robust 60 to 75-day supply is a completely inefficient way to run our business. We need shorter running business, 30-day supply, even 20. Certainly, we're going to run the business with much lower inventory than we had. Definitely affects auto transport. Consumer demand for online car shopping has signaled that a smaller physical footprint is feasible. Definitely affects auto transport. Okay. Yeah, Jay, we got it. Really? That's funny. Because for a nation full of auto transporters, we got like 5 people. Whatever, man. Another factor influencing the new thinking is the industry drift from gas-powered vehicles to all-electric. Honda Motor Co.'s lofty target to sell 800,000 EVs in North America by 2030. I know Ty loves this part. That's what we're. That's that what we're, EV-geddon? Is that what we're? That's what we're really talking about. Look at this. Drivers frustrated as Hyundai Ioniq 5 sells out again within minutes. I want my EV. Okay. Never sing again, Jay. Thank you, Super Dispatch. Making the martinis. Just do jujitsu. I don't have any props with me because I'm on the move. Another big thanks to ATI for raising the tough issues, bring all aspects of the auto transport industry together to share knowledge and information. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate that. That means a lot. Really do appreciate it. Will Morris, if I'm a Honda dealer, just spent X million to build a new facility, and now they're telling me less square feet. No kidding. Man. I guess you just focus on that record profit. You go to the record profit Kool-Aid. Just hit that. You hit the kegerator on this thing. By the way, hopefully hopefully everybody's having a mega pint right now. Have a mega pint for me. Hyundai announces 5.5 billion EV plant. I want my EV. Nissan is putting their certified pre-owned stamp on non-Nissans. Man, I'm telling you, how many pigs are flying now? It's like a whole slew of flying pigs everywhere. That's craziness. Car Global launches an enhanced CR for backlot cars. Now that's interesting. Car Global, an operator of digital marketplace for wholesale used vehicles, on May 24th, that was today, unveiled enhanced condition reports on the company's backlot cars platform. To develop and deploy these new capabilities, Backlot Cars collaborated with ThoughtWorks, a global tech consultancy that integrates strategy, design, engineering, drive digital innovation. The new features, which include audio recordings. Hey, anybody heard of where that came from? I told you I thought that was a good idea when I heard of it. ACB. Aimed at further strengthening the Backlot Cars customer experience through more accurate, consistent, and easier to understand condition reports. Dude, get all the sounds in there. Get the sound of the window motors and get it all. I want to know how okay. ThoughtWorks helped us combine the best features and functionality of backlot cars and CarWave inspection frameworks while identifying errors to streamline across platforms. The result is a single enhanced condition report framework that accelerates sales for sellers and provide buyers with comprehensive condition information that is easy to understand. So much technology. I want my IAA. We need more apps. That's what we need. IAA rolls out a transport function via mobile app. Really? IAA Transport's desktop solution was introduced on its website in September in an effort to streamline the vehicle transport process fully with a global branch to doorstep delivery. Oh, with a branch to doorstep delivery solution. The company highlighted IAA Transport includes several key highlights for buyers that are now available on the IAA Buyer app. In addition to its desktop solution, buyers can transport vehicles from many locations to one delivery address, shop for transport quotes with no obligation, purchase transport at the time of payment or pickup, and track vehicle deliveries between their desktop and mobile device. Ty, it is just like that ad where the guy's like laying on a kitten in the woods, and he's on his device, and the deer says, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm shopping for cars, of course." I think it's like that. Hey, Joe at Car Shipper is here. What's up, man? Oh, the jujitsu's happening. Okay. Yeah, it's clear. Where is the juice coming from to power all these EVs? Will, now you're just mucking it up, Will. Sheesh. Global diesel shortages herald imminent economic slowdown. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. Let's talk about this global distillate, but I want to thank Candy. Hey, robot jujitsu for Candy. Thank you so much, Candy. Paying the village dues. You don't know. I've been on the move. We got stuff going on, all kinds of craziness, and so thank you. That helps so much. Really do appreciate it, Candy. Thank you so much for your help. And Candy and I we'd set up a phone call. We're going to talk on Thursday. And yeah, so if you want to talk, or I put in Ty's phone number. Let us know how we can help you. We want to give back. Thank you, Candy. Thank you so much. So, all right, what is this global distillate? Fuel oil shortages signals business cycles peaking and appear to slower growth, or even a recession is imminent to bring consumption back in line with production. Right? It's just like, you're driving down the road and it's dark and you get your headlights and you're seeing stuff. And what are those things that are going to give you more information than this global distillate fuels shortages? Remember that, distillate fuel. All right, middle distillates include diesel and gas oil, are primarily fuel used in manufacturing, shipping, trucking, freight, mining, farming. Seems like everything. Middle distillates. All right, what is that? What's going on? Okay, well, Europe's distillate stocks fell to 378 million barrels at the end of April. Singapore's distillate stocks fell to 6 million barrels in the first week of May. U.S. distillate fuel inventories stood at 105 million barrels last week, the lowest since 2008, Michael Burry. And sanctions and boycotts on petroleum exports from Russia, a major exporter of distillates, especially to Europe, are reducing availability even further and intensifying upward pressure on prices. Distillates. So let's talk some Keystone Pipeline. The Keystone XL Pipeline. I know. This isn't. I'm not enjoying this either. The Keystone XL pipeline extension was initially designed to transport the planet's dirtiest fossil fuel, tar sands oil, right there. Jay, I wonder what the opinions of the writer were. Okay. To market and fast. It has been operating since 2010. That's why I'm only sharing this one page of this article just to do I just want the fact part. Okay. The pipeline promised to dramatically increase capacity to process the 168 billion barrels of crude oil. Holy cow, 168 billion locked up under Canada's boreal forest. Was expected to transport 830,000 barrels of Alberta tar sands oil per day to the Gulf from Canada. Okay, sounds pretty good. I mean, in a way, because they're saying, okay, you can either pump it through it's kind of like your sink. You can either get your water out of the sink every day, doing whatever you need, or you can try to carry it in buckets from down around the corner. Which one's more efficient? Which one's safer? Which one's faster, safer, more efficient? Such a hard question. Here's the pipeline. There's Canada, and there's... Well, anyways, we don't need that. Crumple that up, folks. We don't need this map. What a waste. What is biodiesel? All right. You're also hearing biodiesel. Biodiesel is a replacement fuel for diesel engines, whereas standard diesel fuel, also called petrodiesel, is made from petroleum. Biodiesel is made from biomass and oils and stuff. Plant, soybean, canola, corn, cooking oil, yellow grease, animal fat, algae, and it's tasty. Soybean oil accounts for the majority. Goes through transesterification. See, there's the problem. The name of the process. No wonder. Anyways, and then it's, it's blended in relatively small amounts with petroleum, and that's how you tell. Look at this. If you go to your petrodiesel and you see the B5, B100, that tells you the percentage of biodiesel. So pure biodiesel would be B100. B5 would be 5% biodiesel. Check the pumps near you. In terms of countries, the U.S. consumes more biodiesel than any other nation. Biodiesel is mostly associated with the transportation industry. So can you use biodiesel, or is it just something that sounds neat? Well, they say they can mix it with diesel. I don't know. I don't work in oil. Biden might release 1 million barrels of diesel oil from the Northeast Home Heating Oil Reserve. 1 million barrels. What is that? 1 day on the pipeline? What's 1 million? Why is diesel so expensive? That's what we're talking about. Is there a shortage? The EIA, we saw something earlier from them, explains the recent diesel shortage in the Northeast in part by noting that diesel refining capacity fell 100,000 barrels a day. You've been hearing about the Philadelphia explosion. And other distillates moving through the pipelines likely fell in 2021 because of lower refining capacity. I thought refining was at its... Imports of distillates increased by nearly 90,000 daily barrels between 2019 and 21 to well more than 200,000 daily barrels, almost offsetting the refinery loss. With pricing as high as it's ever been, an executive at a major truck stop said, currently refiners have no reason not to produce as much diesel as they can, which is why the video of the guy talking about being told that they can't ship as much really makes you wonder. Is that what's going on? This guy pointed to 9,000 approved but unused drilling permits. Drill, baby, drill. That's where drill, baby, drill. Drill, Billy, drill. It's an issue of refining capacity, refining and operating 90%, right? Do you see what's happening? Now we're just getting confused. I need Paul Machine. Give me Paul Machine. Before we do, just go ahead and remember, you can go ahead and sign up. You can talk to Ty. We do want to help. You can get the podcast. I highly encourage that. Get the podcast. Somebody was just saying the other day that they listen to the podcast while they're driving. Oh, that was Will. Will's going to be on the show on Friday. It's ATI Auto Transport. ATI, just like for ATI. That's who we are. We're ATI. We come to you live. We don't have as many shows this week as we normally do because we've been on the move. But we're here on a Tuesday night. We're going to be here on Friday with Cars on the Move on Will. And I'm really trying to get to this Auto Transport 22. I really want to get this done. This is hard, man. But it's so important. But information keeps changing so much. It's so crazy. It's the Car Shipping Business Channel. My name is Jay. Get the podcast. We need JD Ufala to weigh it. We sure do, man. We could definitely use some JD Ufala. If you don't know what JD Ufala is, then you could definitely use some JD Ufala. Let's do this. Here, let's do this. I got to bring in Ty. We're going to bring in Paul. We got to get to Joe. We got Andy. We got Sandra. We have so much happening here. So thank you so much for tuning in. This is ATI. My name is Jay. We're the Car Shipping Business Channel. We'll be right back.
Is your auction feeling the pain before a sale? You know the one. All hands on deck to process as many vehicles as possible, working late into the night, and still not getting through them all because they just keep coming. Hours and minutes before the sale, your condition report writers are moving as fast as they can. But with the imaging process alone taking 5 to 10 minutes a vehicle, it's a losing battle. there aren't enough hours in the day or enough people. Until now. Meet Black Widow Imaging, here to streamline your imaging process, effectively removing your bottlenecks and allowing you to process and sell more vehicles, even minutes before the sale. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Providing consistent high-quality images to your website in minutes, allowing you to capture more digital sales, revenue, and labor savings. Don't believe us? Just ask our clients. Ready to capture more? Contact us today for a demo and consultation.
Capture more automotive business profit with high-resolution 4K images for OEMs, auctions, dealers, rail, port, fleet, insurance, transportation, and more. Schedule your live demo at blackwidowimaging.com. Links in the live chat. Okay, it is now time. I would hit the drum roll button, but I don't think I've got one with me. So let's do this. Let's just make sure the audio's on, the video's on. Here we go. Ty, can you see me and hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Can you see and hear me?
I can see you. I can hear you. Man, I think it's okay. Is it DIESELGEDDON or are we on the way? Ty, what's going on with this?
I don't know. That's why I'm excited. You know, I'm really excited because you got a guy like Paul Machin, you got a guy like Joe, you got a guy like Andy, and you got a guy like Sandro in this lineup tonight. And the cool part is I really don't know anything about diesel or the price of diesel. I don't have any trucks. So for me to sit here and give you my opinion as to what I think diesel is going to do or has done or might do, may not really, or the implications of what's actually happening in the world right now, I'm probably not the best guy to talk to. So we bring real people in that really are dealing with the situation. It came across my radar probably, what was that, 2 weeks ago? I think it came across the radar and it's like, whoo, that's a little spooky. So my problem with the is yeah, I think we do have a problem. I think it is real. And I think somewhere along the way here through tonight's show, you should be able to get some helpful tips on how to maybe navigate. Because really, you know, it's easy to scare everybody and say the world's coming to an end. I can do that really good. But at the end of the day, we had a great conversation with a guy yesterday. You know, he's like, I really want to get into enclosed. And if anybody really knows me, I'm not the enclosed guy. And I probably shocked everybody in the conversation when I said, now's a great time to start a business. If you've got this, and this taken care of, now's really a good time to get into business. So we're not really here to scare you. It could be scary, don't get me wrong. But I think we're an optimistic bunch that really wants to help people not just get by, manage, but really succeed. So with that said, I want to give a quick recap of today. Today, I know this is a little off topic, but tied in with a little bit of your industry news tonight, which was I got to go to an ADESA auction today, ADESA, Kansas City. And I hadn't been there forever, really kind of had a chip on my shoulder, to be honest with you, about the whole mask and be careful and shutting the doors and closing everybody out. So I was really hesitant to go. I went ahead and went, and it was, it was different experience. Around 450, 500 cars ran through the sale, which is terrible. They lost the GM account. I found out any CarMax buyer in the Kansas City metro area is not allowed to go buy cars at ADESA, Kansas City, Carvana, whatever you want to call it. I learned that today. Vroom, same with Vroom. Don't go there. Don't even drive on that side of town. So that, you know, you're like, wow, that's bad.
Wow, that's whoa, that's crazy, dude.
Didn't tell you all this, did I?
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah. So got to see
Okay.
a DIESELGEDDON. Yeah. Well, and it was really bizarre. Last Wednesday, I showed up on Brian's show on DOT live, and we were in the transport. I got him to meet me at the transport parking lot at Manheim, Kansas City, on sale day, just right after sales over. And to see, to live in a transport parking like I have for the last, say, 20 years, after sale day, that place is just packed full of people, cars, trucks, and all kinds of crazy. And standing there, you don't see that. Today, that's Kansas City, after sale, before sale, I get there. The transport parking lot has one truck in it. It's a Stinger, so that's a 9-car hauler. It's packed full of Rivians, one Lincoln, and some other oddball car that really clearly says this guy's not supposed to be here. He's just here taking a nap.
Yeah,
auctions
actually,
are a great place to take a nap.
and I just wanted to ask that. So this guy, the one transporter on the lot, what was on his truck? Just used stuff.
No, he had brand new Rivians. I believe he had 4.
I did see
Four
it. I saw the
Rivians
wheels
and
on
a
the
Lincoln.
pickup, and I didn't. Okay.
Yeah, and the picture I sent. So so first of all, that was crazy. You got to actually see a Rivian out in the wild. When was the first? I thought they were done and gone. They keep losing $3 billion. Every article I read says they lost another $3 billion. So I'm not exactly sure how they're still in business, but I did see a car hauler with 4 Rivians on it, and I went ahead and took a picture at an auction in a transport parking lot. So I'm talking fast. I get excited about this stuff. Everybody knows I do. Back to fuel and dieselgeddon. I don't know. One of the things that caught my attention about this isn't so much about the impact on the carrier, which is going to be huge. We all pretty much know that. My thought process was, as soon as I kind of started getting into this dieselgeddon stuff, I started thinking about who's really going to feel some obvious pain that they don't even know. Like they're maybe not even thinking about this. And that's where I started thinking about are the OEMs. And that's first guy I thought of, Joe. Joe knows. Joe can answer this. Second one I thought of was the remarketing gang, fleet lease, rental, big fleets, lots of cars, lots of inventory that are people managing. We thought of Mike Buchanan with Holman. He put us in touch with Andy. Andy's going to join us tonight. And I think I just like follow the money. Are these big fleet people prepared to maybe not get their cars in a while? I mean, I don't know. And I did catch Mike Buchanan, Holman, ARI. He had a video that was actually pretty cool. I didn't know, but they actually retail some cars too. So they may have things in place to kind of navigate through this. I'm sure, just like being at the AHA conference a couple of weeks ago, listening to the OEMs, really, they verbalized it. They really said it. They said, we understand there's a shortage. We understand there's a problem. We're here to kind of work with you. And it may even open up more communication. So what I'm back to diesel and back to remarketing and fleet and finance, and those are big boys because they got the money. And you think about it, Paul's going to tell us about this. Look at the price of the used car right now. If you got a big fleet remarketing company, what do they want? They want to get all the money for the car that they can get right now. So the faster that car gets to a location, a place, a virtual, whatever you get rid of it, right? We don't even know where the cars go anymore. And we're the transport guys, right? So I thought about the OEM, the fleet remarketing gang. Then I thought about the dealer. What's the dealer going to do? Well, that's a whole nother conversation. I mean, in the last 2 years, so if you're listening and paying attention, I keep saying stuff like the last 2 years. So what really happened in the last 2 years? I was the guy that stood in the transport parking lot day one and said, this is a bad mistake, a great opportunity for the independent auto auctions to go out and get the business, because I know car dealers, I know wholesalers, and I know they like to touch the cars. They like to go to the auction. Everybody can say they don't, but I'm just telling you they do. By the way, today at Odessa, guess who's there? It's all what I call the hustler wholesalers. The hustler wholesalers. These are the guys that they go buy the car, they take it back to the shop, they wipe it down, they clean it up, and they sell it to somebody who says, I will never do business with Carvana. Those guys exist, and they're hustlers. They're amazing people. They're all there and they're all buying cars. because nobody else is there, which is interesting because then you start looking at, well, CarMax isn't here. That's a good thing. Why is that a good thing? Well, because CarMax, when they used to go to the auction and they were standing in the lane and there's anybody around, they all walked off because they knew that CarMax was going to give them all the money for the car, so they didn't even try to bid on it.
Well, this is interesting. Chris just put in the live chat that CarMax did consider a bid for a Dessa, but they just valued it less than Carvana paid for it.
Well, yeah,
That's pretty
doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Well, and this takes us back to my theory, which is I'm not a car sales guy. I never probably will be. I'm not the best car salesman, but this goes back to my theory. I see tremendous, huge opportunity, and I'd like to. Will Morris is in the live chat. I'd like to hear what he thinks, but I see huge opportunity for Carvana transport game to go.
Well, and this is right. This is one of the unknowns that we want to. I told you I had to, like, Carvana. I've got, like, this is interesting. I found on Carvana's, I think it was on their site, you've got Carvana's business plan, etc., from, I think it was 2019, and then an updated version. I was trying to compare the two, but that requires a lot of time and effort, so I didn't have it. But I really do want to dive further into Carvana. Seems to be a, gosh, what is the term? They're like, it's not bellwether, it's not harbinger, but they're like this beacon on the hill of something. But I know that has nothing to do with DIESELGEDDON. So let's shelve that and let's bring in the one and the only Paul Machin. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us right now, we're just a few minutes behind bringing Paul Machin in. So I'm going to bring Paul Machin into the room. He's going to give a presentation. Paul is Director of Strategic Accounts at Black Book and does an amazing job of sharing information. I'm going to make sure he's got share screen access. And please do jump in the live chat. Chris, thanks for sharing that information. And Will as well. We really appreciate you guys. Oh, there's Ty is sharing his ACV Auctions Cup. Hey, what's up, Paul? Can you see us and hear us okay?
Yes, and I should be coming on in just a second.
All right, cool. That's cool. I got it back on the live chat. Candy's ready to party with some more.
I just want to say hi to Candy real quick.
Yeah.
Hi, Candy. Hi, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, Ty. Good to see you, sir. Great topic.
Good to see you.
Oh,
thanks. I've been excited about listening to you. I've been excited to hear what you have to say, Joe. Everybody in this panel. We're so blessed to have smart guys like you guys. It's really, thank you.
Well, I got to tell you that you threw me for a hard right when you told me about this challenge on the diesel. So I started digging into the data. I was like, it blew me away, especially when
You're good.
Yeah, especially, Ty, when I started asking my network, well, tell me about what you're feeling and seeing about the low diesel supply in the U.S. And to a person, haven't really been following it that much, other than the all-encompassing gas prices, which got me thinking. So I wonder, remember the last time I was on, I showed you the let's see, can you guys see my screen?
Not yet.
No, you don't see it yet?
Not yet.
Let me see. Going on here. It shows I'm showing it to you.
And it shows that I've given you access. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Hey, Dennis, I'm not sure if you can get all of your loads from just one company right now. Oh, here we go. Here comes the screen.
Can you see it?
Oh, yeah. There we go.
All right. So if you remember when I shared this with you guys a few weeks ago about the recessions, supply chain recessions, is it coming? What we talked about was how many recessions have we had since 1970? And in the last 50 years, we've had 7 of them. And every single one, the prelude to it was, if you take a look, all the different oil crises that happened, basically oil and energy. The one exception in the 2020, coming into the last couple of years, was when we shut down the oil pipeline. That's also artificially increasing our our prices. And I'm glad that you were highlighting the benefits that we did receive from the oil pipeline from Canada to Texas. It was just a few years ago, we were exporting our excess oil. We were energy independent. So what does this mean? If you talk to the right analysts, they're saying this could be the mother of our recessions because of the tidal wave of all the different events coming together, from the supply chain shipping crisis, from the supply chain in general, to the limited inventory that's in the marketplace on fuel. I did a quick analysis. Just a few short years ago, we had 14 distilleries creating diesel fuel. Today we have 7. And of the 7, 2 of them are, might as well call them crippled. One of those being the Philadelphia explosion, which happened at the beginning of the pandemic. And guess what? Very little investigative journalism has been done about the reasons behind that explosion. So something to put in your hat and think about. So why does a recession normally follow these incredible spikes in oil and gas? Well, through the research and a lot of due diligence, I learned that diesel fuel was so significant in the overall cost and contribution to many, many, many commodities and goods and services that we use as a nation, that eventually that trickle-down effect impacted all of our prices. And we're seeing some of that today. So catering to the masses. Can you guys see the switch? Great.
Yeah.
So this is, I went ahead, I wanted to take a look at, 2 of the best, Walmart and Target. What are they doing? And before I go there, I want to give a quote. John Paul Getty once quipped, if you cater to the classes, you eat with the masses. If you cater to the masses, you eat with the classes. It is as true today as it was when he said it back in the 40s, right? If you remember my last conversation about the power sports, RV, motorcycle, and truck market, what did I call that inventory? And when I said, I want to keep my eye on one thing to understand where the economy is going. Discretionary spending, right? That's what I called it. Keep an eye on discretionary spending for the pulse. So ironically, both Walmart and Target combined account for nearly $700 billion in annual sales. Think about that for a second. 2 companies, 700 billion in annual sales. Now throw Amazon on top of that, and that really blows your mind.
Oh.
Sorry, went too far ahead. New York business, in reference to what's going on with Target. Let me get to my statement here. They dropped 52% in profit in Q1 of this year compared to Q1 of 2021. Target, 52%. Now imagine you're on the board and you're waiting for the profit results to come in, and now you got 52% less than what you were expecting. You know what they blamed it on? Higher expenses due to supply chain disruptions. They didn't specifically say the cost to get their products, the delay in getting the products. It was just a very large, blasé, everything in one supply chain disruptions, right? And consumers are also holding back on non-essential purchases because of rampant inflation. Like we've been saying, what happened to, what was the word? Transitory. It was supposed to be transitory, but it's not transitory, right? Right. So the Target CEO, Cornell, said shoppers are concerned about the high and persistent inflation, particularly in food and in energy. So think about that for a second. When energy prices go up, everything gets shipped. Everything gets shipped by plane, trains, that movie, Planes, Trains, Automobiles, and Ships, uses diesel fuel. When that stuff goes up, it contributes to the overall increase in costs. What they actually identified was that as the prices were soaring, consumers were spending less money on TVs and exercise equipment. Think about those 2 things. What are they known as, Ty? What is a TV? What is exercise equipment, Jay? Is that a need, like food or energy? It's discretionary spending. Go back to what I talked about a couple weeks back. Keep your eye on the RV, power sports, and motorcycle market, because even though as powerful as that market's doing, when that starts to dip, that's really going to tell you how fast we're declining in our economy, because that's discretionary spending. Now we're finding out that Target, 52% drop because of discretionary spending, not because of anything else that they were tracking. And that meant that they had excessive inventories. So go back to the supply chain crisis that we were talking about in the shipping channels. The delay, for every 1 day of delay, it takes 6 weeks for that inventory to get caught up. So even though they're saying they got good warehouse stock of non-essential goods, we don't need that stuff to survive. So they got warehouse stock of non-essential goods, and they got a backlog of more non-essential goods, because what did we just finish experiencing in the last 2 years? Right? We had forbearance plans. We had extra money being given by the federal government, stimulus checks. We had extra money being given for unemployment checks. All of those funds should have been used for savings, but instead they were being used to go out for discretionary spending. And the markets, Target and Walmart, were eating it up. Walmart, through April the 30th, saw a 34% increase in inventory levels, but only saw a 3% growth in sales. So between those two companies, they ordered so much physical goods inventory that the cost of delivery of those products, with the increase in energy costs, people just don't want to buy them now. So I think that means for us, if you don't have to buy anything right now, wait. Remember when I told you my story about selling my BMW?
Yeah.
And I haven't bought a used car to replace it yet. Why? Because I'm waiting. If you don't need to buy a TV, if you don't need to buy a surround sound or a lawnmower or any other discretionary good, wait. I promise you, it'll be a buyer's market again. We're coming out of what I call a seller's market, where we had to just buy whatever we could buy. Now we're going back to a buyer's market where I get to choose the best price for and the best value for the money. That's the market we're going into. So I'm kind of getting excited when I did a little bit of this research. So I wanted to understand, how is the diesel price, how is energy prices impacting the different discount chains like Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Best Buy, Costco? Well, guess what? If you look at their Q1 profit reports, they tanked as well. And their biggest thing was big ticket items. So I have an expression, caveat vendetor, which means seller beware. Seller beware. In our last conversation with you guys, I talked about First Insight showed the inflation impact on the U.S. consumer, and the number one category that would drive that impact, over 66%, was energy. And here we are talking about DIESELGEDDON. You gave a couple great websites, Jay, for gas prices. So this is AAAgasprices.com, and they update this every day. I put this up yesterday. The price of diesel, and I didn't realize this, was $2.03 per gallon cheaper at the exact same time last year, today. Now for a truck, yeah, right? I mean, when you really put that number out there, it's like, shit, that's
Ooh.
Wow.
It's a shocker. You know, for a truck that fuels up with 125 gallons or more, that's several $100 extra at every filling, several $100. Now, and that translates into the food from cars, home goods. I wanted to understand a specific percentage, right? And it took a little bit of digging for me. So I found this guy, he's the chief economist for Moody's Analytics. His name is Mark Zandy. And he estimates that the spread between diesel and motor fuel is the widest it's ever been since they've been tracking this data. He says today it's roughly $1 a gallon spread between diesel and gas. The average over the last several decades has between 30 and 40 cents. So that should give us some sense of how out of balance the difference in diesel fuel and gas is in the marketplace. And going back to the eastern half of the country, we consume about 1.2 million gallons of diesel fuel a day, and we're only putting back about 880,000 barrels of diesel fuel a day from the 5 refineries we have in the place right now. And now there's conversation of going to the diesel reserves. We don't have enough diesel reserves to help backfill if we need to use it right now. So to your guys' point, DIESELGEDDON is a real deal. It's out there. And I also found that through my research, I'm surprised that more than 50% of the vehicle, of the transportation trucks that are on the road, they're running the newer diesel engines that are almost near zero emissions, and in some cases, zero emission diesel engines. I had never heard of that. How come we're not being educated on the benefits and the advancements we have made in diesel technology? Just think about that for a second. And the next slide will blow your mind why I think we need to blow that horn. So the contribution to the inflation that impacts, this guy says 17% on all. He's estimating that 17% of the acceleration of goods for the price inflation is specifically due to the higher diesel costs. And that's just one guy, right? 17% just blew me away. I remember my conversations, many conversations ago, we talked about demand destruction. You guys remember that?
Demand destruction.
Demand destruction.
We're now realizing demand destruction, right? Because diesel fuel is the silent killer. It is in every nook and cranny. And when that hits a certain price point, it will cascade throughout the entire industry in the coming months. That is the reason why, if you go back to the very first slide where I showed where energy spikes within 9 to 15 months, 16 months is a recession, that's the reason why. Diesel's used in farming equipment. It's used in most of the industrial processes, all the machineries that run on diesel. It's just insane what happens. So I found this slide. It was kind of cool. Diesel powering the U.S. economy. Well, how significant does it power the U.S. economy? Well, I didn't realize this. Do you know that 275 billion in economic activity per year, that's equal to the utility and the IT services sector? Just the diesel technology alone. And 1.2, almost 1.25 million jobs. Now, what do those jobs mean? Let's talk about that for a second. The average diesel-related job was 146,000. Now, this was a slide. I think this was, here it is, Diesel Forum, Policy Powering the U.S. Economy. You guys can, and I'll send this to you, Jay, so you can share it with everyone. 146 grand, a diesel-related job. Don't know what that meant. It's just a diesel-related job. Diesel tech-related jobs. So you're in the technology side, $207,000. Wait a minute. So there's 1.25 million jobs that the diesel technology industry provides, and the average is 146 grand. That's a lot of good money. That's not counting what the truckers do and the warehouse managers and the owners of these stores. So we're talking about a economy killer if we don't support and promote and make the changes we need to make. It's the prime fuel for transporting freight, powering farms, building roads, powers emergency services. I didn't think about that for a second. We think about your fire engines and your ambulances that are out there. 3/4 of all construction and mining and agricultural equipment uses diesel fuel. It is the primary use for water drainage and irrigation systems. Hello, California, that Nevada water you get from Lake Mead's going away if you don't stand up for your diesel fuel. And it's a primary use for sea-based transportation. It blew me away. It was an education for me to be to dial into this research. Thank you, Ty and Jay, for putting this challenge with me. So the next thing I wanted to understand is the significance of oil, crude oil, in our industry. I didn't realize that crude oil is used in agricultural fertilizers, paintbrushes, paints and paintbrushes, glues and solvents. How about most modern fibers like nylon, polyester? I love Under Armour, their stretch fabric made from crude oil materials, chemicals. How about footwear? I like Under Armour sneakers. I know Nikes, a lot of people wear Nikes. Guess what? We get rid of petroleum-related products. We got to figure out a new way to wear shoes. Think about all the plastics that goes into vehicles and in everyday use. Electronic equipment. What about those electric vehicles, right? We get rid of petroleum-based products. How do we make the equipment to make the electronic equipment? I like Will's question. Where's the juice come from? I think it was spot on. Food packaging and preservation. candles, asphalt. I mean, you name it, it is in it. And I wanted so I wanted to understand if all that is coming from the use of petroleum, how many gallons of crude oil does it take to make 1 gallon of quality, high quality? What I'm talking zero emission diesel fuel today, it takes 4 to 5 gallons. So now going back to Jay's point, we shut off our ability to be energy independent, and we're importing oil from hostile countries, and we're using 4 to 5 gallons of every barrel we bring in to make 1 gallon of diesel, and we have a daily need just on the East Coast of almost 1.5 million barrels of diesel fuel a day. How many more barrels or gallons of gas of just crude oil we have to consume to get to that? And now you start to understand this significant impact Dieselgeddon could have for us. Does that make sense, guys?
Wow.
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 If you take all of that and then it just blows you away. So translation, what does it mean for us in the marketplace? Diesel price is gaining. The cost for shipping is passed along to consumers. We know that. So we need creative, disruptive technologies to drive down these costs and make affording vehicles easier for the consumer. I have, this goes back to 2015. Every new vehicle year of sales, from going back to 2015. What do I call new vehicle sales, guys? You hear me say this all the time. New vehicle sales is the used car factory next year.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what we've got here. So what we see here is, the good news is we're seeing a slight uptick in available inventory for 2022, as you see right here in the shaded area. That's because of the off-lease 2018 and 2019s that are maturing right now. And 2019 was one of the best years we have ever had for leasing. So we have a nice supply of lease vehicles coming through. And because there's a lot of dealers are speculative, they're kind of concerned. The ones I've been talking to, they're nervous about having too much inventory because of what they're seeing happening in the economy right now. It's not the same as before. I need to buy everything. Now they're passing. They're not taking every vehicle that's coming in off lease, and so we're seeing some of those off lease vehicles go to the auctions. So I believe that as an industry, I think you're going to see your drivers will start getting some more business. Now, the challenge we're going to run into is once we exhaust out 2018 and 2019, like we've already done for the 0 to 2-year-olds from 2020 and 2021, what does it look like for us in the pre-owned market in later years? I think we're going to have a struggle. We're not going to be able to hit that 40+ million units that we're used to selling, not until after 2024, based on the supply of the used vehicle factory production. So what does that mean for us? I think the car haulers will have a good time getting the loads they need, but we need some disruptive technology to make it easier. And as I had said before, and I think there are several others that have said the same thing before, when we have, where's my thing here? Stop my screen. There we go. When we have, every recession has been stopped by disruptive technologies that we've had. Something new has come along to improve the business model from before. So that's why I'm excited about what we're getting ready to experience. I'm stoked. I'm working with many startups that are coming out with some phenomenal ideas. And some of the research about diesel engine technologies that have stopped because our focus on electric vehicles. I mean, you're talking about electric diesel engines that could get 100 miles a gallon with the right technologies being added to it, but it's been completely killed. Completely killed.
Wow, Paul. Wow. Seriously, amazing. I texted Kimberly. This is kind of amazing.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Yeah, no, that was awesome.
That was
Because you went in directions I wasn't even thinking about. And I do want to say, because I've had so many random thoughts as we've been talking, is that, yeah, I mean, on the one hand, this is an industry show about diesel. But really, when you look at how much of our lives this affects, yeah, I mean, you're talking about the shoes and everything. I mean, yeah, this is and also on the clean engines, which in itself, I don't think it's easy to acquire a truck with near zero emissions, but they do exist. I think I have more questions than anything else.
Yeah, that was from the DOT, the Department of Energy, and the what is it, the EIA. They were talking about over half the vehicles,
EIA.
over half the trucks on the road were, near zero emissions. It's like, why don't we have more? Why don't we have subsidies to get more of that on the road? To help some of our buddies on this conference call right now, to help them get into that vehicle so they can be a part of the solution.
Good timing on that, because what we're going to do now is, I know we're a little bit late, which we're used to on this show, but we worked so hard to then, make everything happen on a Tuesday night. So I'm going to bring in Joe Bercari. And if you're jumping in the live chat, whether you're jumping in, jumping out, whatever you're doing, hey, Joe Bercari, Midwestern Car Carriers, is with us. What's up, Joe? Oh, he's like getting set. Is he getting set? Is he set? We throw people into Zoom meetings, but it looks like he can see us and hear us. He's messing with us. This is Joe Bercari-geddon.
Joe, what? Where's he at? I can't see or hear you.
Is he here? Oh, no, he is here. No, he's not?
Oh, boy. Joe.
No idea what just happened there.
Oh, okay. He is here. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
how are you?
Good, man. Thank you for taking the time. And if you're all set, we're going to hand you the microphone.
Well,
yeah.
I hold on now. I got to stop for a minute.
All right, cool. Do you want to log out and log back in?
No. I want to talk about some of the points that Paul brought up, which are really incredible. And so there's a few things here. By the way, if it looks like I'm looking up over here, that's because my monitor's over here. My camera's over there.
Yeah, exactly. I know exactly what you mean. I have the same thing. Yeah, you're good.
So I will look as though I am on profile all the time.
You got a great profile. You look good.
Thank you.
Looking good.
So there was some comments, and for starters, every time I see Paul Machin on this channel, I have to go back and watch it again because there's so much data in there that I almost can't keep up with it. It's dynamite. And I really, really enjoyed some of the comments about, kind of the balance between what does the economy look like and how does, energy, if you like, attached to it. So it's really kind of brilliant. And I want to tell you, Paul, I don't know how you did it, but what you had here and what I'm about to throw up are going to accidentally coincide. It's kind of brilliant. So, or I'll just take the credit for it. Not.
I expected you to have some of that stuff too, Joe. You're a good researcher.
Yeah, I love to read. So, all right, let's see. We got to figure out how I'm going to make my screen your screen and your screen and my screen. Right. This thing's being a little bit difficult on my end. So
it's all good. All right, just check in with the live chat while you're doing that. Travis says we chop them pipes off and let that Detroit eat, allegedly. It's interesting. So we're bringing out, crude oil is in everything, Chris says.
All right, you seeing my screen now?
Not yet. The screen sharing.
Oh, hold on a second. It's being a little annoying.
Almost there.
Hold on. Hold on, I know why it's doing this.
And so what, is there a website you want to share? Is there information you want to share? Is there a conspiracy you want to share? God, Ty, when's the last time I invited people to share their conspiracy?
Is this Jay?
God, never.
What is wrong with you?
I have never.
I've never
said
even heard
that.
you see LBJ.
Right, I started
whatever.
throwing in the
You
Q's and the
started
R's.
that.
I
Dang.
know. Oh.
Not me, man. I've been doing a good job keeping my own mouth shut
I
and
know,
minding my
and
business. And
I
you're
know.
over there just stirring it up. Dude.
I've
You want
s-
me to dive in, don't you? I'm not doing it.
I've said I've said drill baby drill like I don't even know how many times. All right, back to Joe. All right.
Back to Joe. Here we go.
Are we looking at the right screen, or do you got a lot of other
I
garbage?
see the screen, and now if you want to go into presentation mode or whatever you want to do, but we do see the right screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's going to go into presentation mode or what.
Well, however you want to do it. I mean, you know.
This is real right here. Well, let's do real.
Yeah,
This is
Fair
real.
enough.
Real.
All right.
We're
So
live. Yeah.
so yeah. What the hell, right?
Yeah.
All I can tell you is that if you're running a diesel based economy in your business right now, you're wondering what in the hell's going on, and God, it's too much. And I think it's important. You always have to ask the question, how did we get here? And how did we get here? The awesome majority of that responsibility is from what happened in Ukraine with Russia. Russia, a massive energy market across the pond. Anyone that thinks that the world events are not in some fashion interrelated, you're kidding yourself. This is how does international politics intersect with domestic policy 101. Here we are, February 24, they decide they're going to invade Ukraine, and Russia, in large part as a result, decides to exert their authority. Ukraine starts cutting off the pipeline that runs Russian energy into Western Europe. They do that. Russia thinks to themselves, well, we've got this other thing called Nord Stream 2, which is a pipeline that runs from Russia across the Baltic Sea down to Germany. The intent here was to feed Germany energy that would eventually go everywhere else. Russia makes a fortune doing so. Germany says, no, thank you. Not getting into the morality of all of that. The point here is that Europe decided that they were not going to fund Russia by way of their economy. And so they start one by one cutting off ties with all of those Russian businesses. The dominant business in Russia is energy. Then the US does two things that are really important. Number one, we say, guess what? We're not buying Russian energy either. Russian energy that was shipped to the United States on boats, turn the hell around and go back over to wherever you came from. And that's what they ended up doing, cost them a fortune. And then the United States says to Europe, hey, we know that y'all have energy problems. We are your saviors. We are going to, in the spirit of 1939 or earlier, we are going to send you guys additional information or additional resources that will basically save your bacon, because winter is coming. And we know that you will probably require energy to be able to get through it, especially somewhere in those places up north. Well, the futures market did not like that. Well, maybe they did like it, but they said, holy smokes, everything's about to go bananas. And if you see on the chart that I've got on the screen here, I'm hoping that that you can actually see.
We still see what is diesel going on.
Oh boy, that's not good.
Well, it's okay. Click on second slide. What does that say? No. Well, let's see. If you
frustrating.
If you click on how do we get here, we might see that second slide. I know.
Hold on now. We're going to try that.
Well, we heard everything you said. I mean, In fact, I've already got questions. I'm sure, right? But we did hear you.
All right,
So
so
that's good.
I'm gonna try something else here. We're
Okay.
gonna not try that because that was being a pain in the neck.
But what's interesting in what you said and where I mean, this is where my brain is stuck right now, is because we're hearing this too. So why are we sending so much to Europe and over here in DIESELGEDDON?
Well, and I think that's kind of the point here. All right, let's try that one. This should work.
Okay, I see it's coming through. It's hey, there we go. Got it. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So what's important here is on this screen, if you look at what happens in March, obviously these two major announcements beginning and end of March have a massive impact on fuel futures and crude oil futures. Now, Paul just spent quite a bit of time explaining to us why it is that crude matters to us. Here is the proof in the pudding. Here is what actually happened. Okay, when we made these political announcements, suddenly the markets went, whoa, wait, hold on. We are about to supply Europe through winter. Hold on, we ain't got that kind of supply. And so futures went way up, and guess what happens right after? Prices went way up. So to the next slide here. Hopefully I did this right this time. We have a where are we now slide.
Yep.
All right, we win. So where are we now? Take a look at what happened to diesel prices, top left chart there, in the beginning of March. I mean, it was like a rocket ship. I mean, you do not have to be an economist to say something significant must have happened right here, because something freaking significant obviously happened right here. And especially when you look at that orange line, which is telling you what happened this time last year, which was essentially the economic recovery that was taking place after COVID. So you have this relatively slow, steady line that was bringing you back towards whatever we believe normalcy was eventually going to be. And then in the blue line, showing you the trends that have taken place over the course of the last 12 trailing months. And all of a sudden you see, guess what? Massive event. And the bad part here for people that are doing this business day to day is that it didn't come back down. It didn't, it sort of settled at an elevated point, but then you can see again, we have a bit of a jump that happens, only a couple of short weeks later. That is springtime demand, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. So the key here is that you had a massive jump take place in March following this major world event and substantial political announcement. And then right after that, we have what would be what I would call the normal seasonal rise of fuel consumption. You're getting spring and summer, spring break, summertime vacations, all of these things that are sort of, traditionally, well, hey, let's, get in the family truckster and let's go out to, Wally World or whatever it is. That's when all this stuff happens. So there is this demand that is increasing upon not just diesel fuel, but all fuels. Now, diesel fuel has a special place in this. Why? Because a lot of the Asian manufacturers and OEM, the end of their fiscal year is March. And so they're having all kinds of sale pushes that are just, going bananas. We called it March Madness for years and years in the business if you're on the new car side. And obviously you're getting to springtime sales. People are saying, spring cleaning time for, time to get for a new car and so on and so forth. So, the demand for products, the demand for new vehicles and used vehicles is increasing just because that is the seasonal nature of this market. These two things converging on top of the political thing is creating a substantial crunch in supply. As if it couldn't get any worse, Then we have all kinds of problems with the Colonial Pipeline, which is a massive pipeline that feeds all kinds of fuels, refined and unrefined, from Texas all the way up into New Jersey. This pipeline supplies fuel for the Northeast. The reason that there are rationing allocations, the reason why these things are happening is because the Colonial Pipeline is not able to get to full speed. And in order to address this, the manufacturers and refiners of fuel are put into this Sophie's choice position. They have no choice but in order to try and meet some degree of the demand, their pricing is going through the roof, by the way. In order to reach this degree of demand, they have to basically turn to trucks to be able to push as much volume as they can down into these markets that have an incredible amount, that are constantly saying, I need more supply. And if they do that, it drives up costs because trucks are more expensive when you're transporting fuel. And also, trucks also consume fuel. So you're taking fuel from the markets that are already feeling a little pinch and turning it into a big pinch. And the markets where there's a big pinch is turning into a gargantuan pinch. In essence, if you're in any of these states that run in and around the Colonial Pipeline, if you ain't feeling it, you're gonna, because it's just a matter of time. This is ground zero for Dieselgeddon. This is where it's going to start, and you're going to watch it expand outward in all directions. And it gets better because I'm a harbinger of sunshine.
That's
Oils
great.
and lubricants, where do you think they come from? Paul Machin, I love you dearly. You already touched on this, but
Yep.
specifically from the transportation business, lubrications, hydraulic oils, fluids, these are important. These are either our base products or byproducts of the manufacturing, refining, or harvesting process. Rubber. Where the hell are trucks going to be without rubber?
Mhm.
Rubber. Plastics are a key part of most of the parts that are put into new vehicles, new trucks, used trucks. Replacement parts are all, how many people on this that are watching this right now are going to go, I remember when so and such was made out of metal or aluminum, and now it's made out of this cheap ass plastic. Guess what?
Right.
That's about to go to pot too. And remember silicone? Silicone, the thing that you need to make microchips that are driving the rest of the automotive industry. Well, silicone is a byproduct of rubber and petroleum. This is a thing that is part of that whole manufacturing process. General Motors and Ford and Chrysler, and these are just, general, forums calls that I've been on, have all sat there and said, hey, we're expecting that this is going to drag out into 2023. The silicone and chip shortages. We thought we were going to be able to get ahead of it. Ain't happening. We're thinking this is going to go on for a little bit longer.
Yep.
It's about death. Paul, you talked about this, and you actually, again, great minds think alike, I guess. Urea is a key component of DEF. DEF imports, urea comes from China, and until extremely recently, it came from Russia. This is the thing that makes diesel exhaust fluid, capable of doing whatever it is. DEF is a national mandate. This is part of smog controls and all that. This is not going away. People are not, at one point in time, one of the major trucking manufacturers had a significant problem with a specific sensor that had a huge impact on many trucks being able to deliver goods. They petitioned, now this is not a small company, they petitioned the federal government and said, hey, can we get a 90-day exemption from this particular sensor so that way our customers can start, hauling freight again? Government said, nope.
Wow.
That's environmental, ain't gonna happen. So DEF, we have already been feeling a supply crunch in DEF going into Q3 and Q4 of last year. You think that's gonna get better? I'm going to take the under. I don't think so. DEF, by the way, also used in fertilizers. Given the choice between fuel and food, where do you think the government is going to push, is going to say, here's where your subsidy is going to go. By the way, fertilizer and fuel farms generally win when it comes to that, because people like farmers. People do not like big oil. Even though big oil probably powers more things than, well, even though big oil probably powers farms. That's unfortunately a reality of our economy. And I would say that this will not be over soon. The U.S. Energy Information Administration, we're going to talk about them in a little bit more, is saying that they are seeing average fuel prices of $6 per gallon in places like California and Maine. And it is a direct result of supply, a direct result. Historically, the market takes 3 to 6 months to be able to get its wits about it and figure out what it's going to do to address this. The previous 6 years, I'm not taking shots at any administration, you guys can draw your own conclusions, but the previous 6 years have not done a good job of fostering that environment. And Paul made a comment about energy independence. We had a surplus at one point, and it tipped over in a different direction. But here's the reality. I'm not talking from a standpoint of politics. I'm talking from a standpoint of facts. We have made a conscious decision to go away from that direction for whatever reason, and now here we are. Now we are basically going to be facing a substantial price crunch, a substantial supply crunch in the second most vital component to finished vehicle deliveries.
Yep.
After drivers, the second most vital component. So you're a business. How do you weather this storm? Well, you watch the market. You listen to geniuses like Paul Machin. You listen to all of this. You look at what is going on. Pay the hell attention. Look at where we are. The US EIA website is fantastic. It's a nonpartisan website. I use it all the time. It is a great resource. It gives you a lot of facts about where do your taxes go, what is happening, in the market. A lot of these companies are, all of energy in the United States is federally regulated. This is a way for you to learn what is going on and how does it impact, the overall pricing and operations of fuel. Look for those trends. If you are seeing fuel price trends upward in a steady state, if you are pricing on an ad hoc basis, you have to be in tune with that, so that way you and your pricing is in tune with the costs of your business. I make a mention about joining a consortium. Midwestern is a member of the Auto Haulers Association of America, AHA. We have had a lot of discussions about that. Ty Thompson and I were down in Atlanta pretty recently. AHA offers a fuel consultant consortium where there is an opportunity for smaller companies. You pay the membership fee to get into AHA, and what they offer in exchange is basically a fuel consultant who can say, this is the kind of savings that you can be a part of if you band together with the others within this industry. So if you're a big guy that can't command, diesel pricing benefits because of sheer volume in gallons, this isn't a way for you to, number one, have a voice in your industry, and number two, have an opportunity to create some savings with a tried and true professional within the organization that can say, hey, look, this is the kind of savings that I can offer. Maybe it's 3 cents a gallon, maybe it's 10 cents a gallon, maybe it's 50 cents a gallon. I can't tell you what that number is. I'm not privy to that, but it's not nothing, and it's up to you. Maybe you could do some value judgment on, is the cost of membership a benefit enough to be able to drive down that overall cost year over year. And I'm sure AHA is not the only one. That's just the one that Midwestern is a part of. And then finally, I'm going to say, consider a fuel surcharge. And if you don't have a fuel surcharge as part of your business, it's something to take a look at. A surcharge, what it's intended to do is to say, if my cost is here and my margin is here, if it renders the cost of fuel irrelevant, it drives these two things up and down at the same pace. How many times have you heard me say on this broadcast, be honest and upfront with your customers? If you can say to them, this is what my cost is, and this is the cost of fuel, you should be able to come up with a surcharge program that is equitable for both parties. At the end of the day, you want to weather the storm. You want to keep your margins strong and get to, the post, I'm hoping that Paul is right and that we are not about to enter into a massive recession. You want to get yourself into that spot where the dip becomes flat. So the other end of flatten the curve, let's just say. The only thing I'll say is you have to be very careful when you initiate a fuel surcharge. It's a double-edged sword. When fuel comes down, and this is publicly available knowledge, you have to be willing to reduce your pricing at the same pace that you increase your pricing. In the OEM market, in the OEM world, that is basically the philosophy. We, on my side, are we affected by the cost of fuel? Yes. Is it, there are intricacies to it. I'm not going to get into the particulars of all of them, but that is what this is intended to resolve. I would say it's something that's worth considering. I have a quick fuel surcharge calculator that I threw together that's on this page. I will put the actual mechanics of that surcharge calculator in Jay's hands so he can pass it out for free to anyone in the industry. This ain't rocket science, but it is good business. And if you can run a good business, in my opinion, you can become great within this industry.
That's amazing, Joe. Thank you for volunteering that. And I want to say this too: if you haven't had enough, we have one more guest we're going to bring in. I'm just going to go ahead and open it up. Andy Hall is with Holman, and he's a manager in EV and fuel pricing. And I know even Paul and Joe were like, wait a minute, what's happening? Yeah, no, we are lucky. And I want to thank when Andy gets here, and he's been patient, so he's going to take a second to jump in. And Andy, I'm bringing you in when you're ready, and I know that it's been a long time to wait. The thing is, I was thinking about this, guys. When we do these shows, and we have so much material and information packed into a Tuesday night, it's got to be challenging, and yet, when you come away from a Tuesday night, you think, man, I've got so much information now. What do I do with it all? But before we get to solutions, Andy Hall, can you see us and hear us okay?
I can. Can you hear me?
We can see you. We can hear you. Thank you so much for taking the time. We've actually not even met yet. This is the first time we're meeting live.
Yeah, it's nice to meet. I wanted to say first time, long time. Like I've been listening every week.
Cool.
But,
awesome. Thank you.
But I did check out a few things, and I've been enjoying the. I don't know how much I can offer. Every point I had in my back pocket has already been mentioned, I think, by Paul. I mean, Paul just took everything I had. So I've learned a lot. It's been fun, and I did have to duck away for a phone call, so I missed the last little bit. So Joe, I'm sorry. Paul got all my attention, and you got nothing, Joe. I saw you for 5 minutes, and all I heard about was your camera angle. So,
wow.
So it wasn't educational, but it was helpful. I appreciate that. So I feel like I got to know Joe a little bit.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So, and I didn't, and I didn't see Sandro. Sandro might be joining us. I'll send him another invite. But do me a favor, Andy, before we go any further, Andy, will you tell us a little bit more about you and what you do at Holman Enterprises?
Sure. So I've been at Holman 11 years now, a lot of different roles, but latest stint is in our procurement group, overseeing a lot of our fuel and EV product categories. So a lot of time spent through the years operationally with fuel, mostly on the fuel card side. I mean, we work with mixed fleets, and so not so much over the road, but a lot of mix, but everything light duty to heavy duty complex. I'm not sure. I know you guys know a little bit about Holman from Mike and others. So, but yeah, a lot of my time is really focused now on developing a lot of our EV partnerships and really doing what we can from a fuel standpoint for fleets that are, as you guys mentioned, really struggling to maintain those costs. And some do pass it through to clients and have it tied to jobs, but a lot of them are it's just eating at their margins completely. So I was fascinated, by the way, by that the 17% contribution to inflation. So Paul, that was a great number you pulled out of there, and I believe it just from what I've been seeing. So it's definitely impacting our clients. Again, I mean, we talk a lot through the years about how to best improve fuel efficiency and what you can do from driver behavior standpoint, telematics, everything that you guys all know based on the short time I've been with you. But it's a challenge. It's a huge challenge for our fleets.
Speaking of, so I just finally processed what Joe said. So Joe, you're going to share a surcharge calculator. In what way do we access that? And I'm thinking, Andy, is this something you also think about, how to apply proper surcharges to account for the surges? Do you do that?
Yeah, I mean, we don't. I mean, our clients would, and if they could, they would. I don't know how many of them can. I think if they can include it, I'm sure they're thinking about it now to how they can share some of that risk. But I think a lot of our clients really don't want to share that risk either. So I'm sure it's something that's negotiated. But again, we're all across the board, different industries. So I'm sure it's much more prevalent in other industries. It's just not something that they can add to contracts. But I know some it's just straight pass through. If they can quantify it, they'll just say, look, it's the job plus fuel and whatever other expenses that they can.
Yeah, and typically what happens in larger contracts, Andy, is that the surcharge is kind of surcharges have been around since 2008, so they are what they are, and a lot of them they're negotiated, and the carrier, if you're educated, you understand what impact that has on your pricing. A lot of times the key is understanding what's the strike point. So when I say strike point, what I mean is what's the baseline number. So if fuel was X, what's the cost of doing business? And then, from there, the surcharge is supposed to basically be a negligible over under that balances with, some sort of common gradation. Usually it's the US EIA guidelines. Sometimes it's others, AAA or something, but usually EIA. So what I'm going to share, Jay, to answer your question is an ad hoc. Here is what my rate would be at this price of fuel, and here is what the rate would be with a inflated or deflated price of fuel, whatever the user requires. I'll turn it into a quickie spreadsheet. You can post it in whatever way you want, but it's not going to be complicated. It's designed to help the small business guy figure out how to deal with a sudden spike, as we've seen in our business, so that way they're not just left out in the cold.
Hey, Joe, your fuel surcharge deal, if you're a guy who's just picking loads off the load board, that fuel surcharge isn't probably for you. Is that right or wrong?
Well, typically load board usually is going to be 100% inclusive of fuel. And I think that's why this still is helpful, because when you go from $4 a gallon to $5 a gallon on a 700-mile run, that's a pretty substantial impact to your top line and bottom line that you have to be able to consider. It's no longer acceptable to take a load for $1,800 when you're paying $400 more in fuel, let's just say. So yeah, that's the idea there.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. So Andy, our first time to meet you, I feel kind of like I know you just because we know Mike, but one of the things that has always impressed me that every time Mike says it, I still fall on the ground and like, what did he say? You guys are a big company, Holman, right? Okay. And you guys tell us more, just a little bit about Holman, just so kind of we understand who we're talking to, Andy.
Sure. Yeah. So, well, actually, and Mike probably mentioned it, but we recently rebranded everything under Holman. But we have a large dealership group. I think it's 35 dealerships. 35. I get confused, rooftops or dealerships. So whole dealership group. Auto Truck, which is now Holman Manufacturing, that does vehicle upfitting. We have an insurance company. We do obviously fleet management is huge. It used to be ARI. So that's 1.7 million managed vehicles across mostly North America, but also UK and Germany as well. So, and then been getting into, we have a strategic ventures group that does, or venture capital arm that does investments into the new disruptive technology. So whether that's connected or electric, autonomous, and a lot of great, opportunities through that. So especially in the EV space. So we try to, we're across a lot of categories in the automotive space, and it's been fun. So and as I've been in this role, I've been able to kind of cross across the different areas. Most of my experience has been in fleet, but even like retail is a good example. Now we got dealerships that are electrifying, putting in DC fast chargers to support product, EV lineups that are coming out, and there's a lot of overlap there. So we learned by putting in significant EV infrastructure, but then we have clients that are doing the same, so we have a leg up there. So it's interesting, and we're getting better at aligning our businesses day by day and learning from each other. So
wow. So it's really big to have you guys on here, and I really want to say thank you again.
Deal. I agree. Yeah, no, thanks for pointing that out.
Mm-hmm. So, and now you're dealing with, what's your role again here?
So I'm in our procurement group, but most of my focus is fuel and EV. Now, fuel is a bit limited in that we're most of our fleets are using a fuel card. So we did some fleets that do bulk mobile. We do get into conversations around hedging. I can't tell you we have one fleet that does hedging, but we'll talk about that. And we have some partners we can direct them to. But for the most part, we're going through fleet fuel cards and partners there. We have some of our own offerings up in Canada that we manage. So we'll work directly with the major oil companies and really independents, card lock out in the middle of nowhere in Saskatchewan. So a little bit of everything, but mostly with the fuel card.
Okay, so on that, because I had a fuel card question, like a half hour ago, a couple days ago. We've been here for quite a while. What are some common new fuel card questions given changing in pricing? What gets asked?
Yeah, I mean, something as simple as card limits. So most fuel cards, and part of the benefit of having for instance, like a WEX closed loop fuel card is that you have some better controls on it than something that's just going through a MasterCard network. So just something as simple as I had limits for my fuel cards at $500. Well, now that limit's not enough to fill up my Peterbilt. So we're now having to manage. You got drivers now can't get enough fuel because their limits have changed. And we had issues in Canada with our MasterCard offering where they're bumping up against credit limits with the bank because we have not ever had to deal with this. So it's something that we've had to scramble to support clients. So it's managing that risk versus functionality. And then at the same time, fuel prices going up, fuel fraud is much more attractive, and fuel card misuse. You have the driver that doesn't love what he's doing and likes to fill up his boat on the weekends, especially coming around the summer, or whatever, wife's pulling up next to him, filling up her car, so it's just more, there's more risk as the fuel prices go up. So it requires more monitoring.
Isn't it fascinating that what Andy just said, I didn't see it coming, but I knew there was something I didn't know, because no matter what you do, the size of your business, changes bring unknowns. That's fascinating.
Yep. And a lot of our fleets struggle. They're either over, it's really just managing the data. So some fleets are asleep at the wheel and they're not looking at anything. So if something was happening with their drivers, they wouldn't know it. Other fleets are going down to exception reporting and having branch managers and supervisors justify a tank. We call it a tank capacity violation. So the vehicle's got 40-gallon tank in our system and they pump, or a 40-gallon gas tank and they pump 60 gallons of diesel. There's an issue there. Now, they could be filling up equipment. They could be filling up the excavator or something else. So there's a lot of challenges to it. But some fleets are they're not paying attention at all. And it depends on the driver. Some of our drivers are high turnover. Other drivers are, like you take a Cummins driver that's doing repairs on, and has 50 grand worth of materials in his van. He could be trusted with his fuel card much more than a contract worker running around a box truck delivering things. So a lot of it's really understanding your drivers and what kind of risk you have and how likely they are to maybe misuse a card. And some drivers think that, hey, it's a fuel card. If I just fill up my wife's car every once in a while. Like everybody does it, no problem. So in these days, obviously that no problem is a much bigger problem.
You pull up to the pump, you got your excavator and your boat, and no one will know.
Sure. Yep. Unless you look at that the security tape, which is a little difficult. That does happen though. And pull that and you get some drivers red-handed, but it's a lot. It could be a lot of time and energy. But you catch one guy and they talk. I mean, even a bigger fleet, word gets around. So you make an example out of some people. And some of it is really just, I mean, even drivers that aren't really trying to do anything necessarily wrong, just it's the idea that your choices matter. So everything you do, whether it's maintaining the vehicle, doing your PMs, even, washing the vehicle, in certain environments, like it's your choices matter, driver, and you're affecting your bottom line, and it's important.
Well, and truth is sometimes you feel so squeezed that you're trying to figure out, how can I get around this really difficult squeeze that I'm in? So
sure. Yeah. I'm gonna make it up somehow. I just paid 17% more on my, whatever it is. I just got a quote to replace my HVAC system, and guy told me it went up 20 grand or 20% year before, and then another 30% this year. So maybe I'll make it up with my fuel card when I go out and fuel a little bit.
Right.
$2 extra bucks.
Right.
So,
wow, that's wild, man.
Scary. Yeah, you don't think about the fuel crisis, the Dieselgeddon creating these kinds of issues, do you?
Well, and he said gas fraud. Yeah, not gas fraud, but gas theft. Tell us a little more about gas theft. What's going on? What are you seeing?
So you really want to look at two ways. One is just like a driver misuse. So it's someone you've given a card to. They're the authorized card holder, if you want to use that language, and they're misusing the card. So it's not fraud in the sense that the card hasn't actually been copied. So, or you can have a situation where the card's actually been copied. So a fuel card skimmer, you dip the card in. And it's a little easier with a WEX card. They haven't converted yet to chip. They're working towards that. But it's pretty easy to copy a WEX card if you get a hold of one. Any of us on the call can get a card reader and Bluetooth and just insert it into a Island card reader and pull the data off and get a few card blanks, and you can replace the card. It's actually some places it's usually places in Texas, usually Texas, California, Florida, where there's pretty elaborate, it's organized crime where they actually have trucks that are built out to hold a lot more fuel than they look like they're supposed to be, they should hold. And then the elaborate, they'll go across the border, dump into a tanker, and then that tanker will go and resell that fuel to stations. So fairly elaborate. I mean, some is just, you're just petty thefts, a guy that gets a card reader and is making a few bucks, and others, it's a whole pretty large network where they're making some significant dollars.
But it's not a few bucks. We had this happen in Midwestern pretty recently. A driver who he swiped his card. I don't know how this exactly happened. We don't know how this happened exactly yet, but 10 minutes or 12 minutes later, that same card was used in California. The driver fueled in like Tennessee, and that same card number with that same unit number was used in California, and it started a string of purchases in excess of $12,000 that, before we were able to shut it down. And, obviously the dispute process, goes through a whole other arm, but it can be a big deal to a fleet like mine. We're talking 12 grand's not nothing, and it can be devastating to an individual owner.
Very much so. Well, I'm gonna.
Yeah. Final thoughts. My
final thought is, Paul. I think Paul said it. Joe said it. Andy said it. We've all kind of said it. That now's a good time to really pay attention to expenses. Right. It's a good time to get rid of things maybe you don't need. Paul said, if you're thinking about maybe going and buying something that you don't absolutely need right now, maybe hold up. There's any kind of debt you can get out of might be a good idea. But on the flip side of this, I think those are all practical, wise things to watch and to do in your transport business. I also think at the same time, Paul said this, you there's going to be a lot of opportunity just around the corner. You might hear stuff like, well, they're not going to be even making cars until 2023 or whatever the case may be. There's still used cars on the road and they still need to be moved. And there's still big companies that need them to get somewhere. The model's changing on a regular basis. The more, like Joe said, the more you pay attention to programs like this, the more you pay attention to what's going on in your world, the chances of your survival keep going up. And this is a story that nobody wants to talk about, but if you're really in the position right now where you're maybe a week behind or almost a week behind, now might be a good time to give me a call or give somebody a call and try to figure out a way to slow down, because it's not going to get any better for maybe 3-6 months. Is that fair? There's my final thought.
Yep.
Yeah, what is the time frame? Because that's the thing. It just made me think of, there was somebody, maybe half of the world, that was thinking, COVID, it'll be about a week. Nope. So what are we in for? What's our time frame here?
You guys have brought up EIA, so I'm assuming you've seen the short-term energy outlook and the projections. So, I mean, really, as much as I'd like to say I got some other silver bullet or crystal ball, that's what we always point our clients back to, is the EIA. So what does that number look like? So, I mean, you guys can pull the numbers. I have some charts up here. I mean, they say, we're at the peak, or we're getting to the peak in, this summer, and it's, smooth sailing after that, but they're obviously often wrong. So
they're doing that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So, and you always say it can't get worse, right? It really can't, right? So, but we've been saying that for a while, and then, I'm like, I drive by, I'm outside of Philly, see Wawa. I'm like, I can't. And I was just in California, I was in Long Beach, and seeing the gas price out there, but I never thought I'd see $4.50 for, a Wawa for regular unleaded, and pay that myself. I mean, I'm putting in, I'm a cheap guy. I'm in procurement. I put in $30. I'm telling, like, I just want $30 cash. I'm barely driving anymore. I'm working from home. So I haven't done that since, it's high school, college, where I'm, telling them to, hey, I just need $5, $20, $10. It's crazy.
What's a Wawa?
Wawa's they sell fuel, but they're selling you hoagies, and it's a great convenience store.
No,
a good coffee, clean bathroom.
Wawa is an institution. If you know what Wawa is, institution. I lived in the Northeast for a long time. Wawa is an institution. My wife, kind of funny. My family gives my wife Wawa gift cards all the time.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Do they have
I can't use them in
cheesesteak?
Kansas City, but
Suddenly I want a cheesesteak. Do they have cheesesteak?
They do have cheesesteaks. Yeah, it's not like a Philly cheesesteak. It's not as good, but it's they do have it.
They do.
They have a little bit of everything. It's not a Buc-ee's. I actually haven't been to one of those, but I've heard of that. But it's Royal Farm, something like that. It's a nicer Sheets. No offense to Sheets, but I'm a little biased.
Like in the Midwest, we have Casey's. They have pizza.
Casey's, right?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Quick trip.
No.
Quick
Casey's, no.
Okay, she's
another day. Also,
No?
yeah.
We gotta have a C-store call, because I think Joe's an expert there too. So.
No.
Well, guys, I really appreciate all of you. I mean, again, I'll say it one more time. I said it earlier. I'll say it again. Just having the relationship with you guys really means a lot to Jay and I, and we really appreciate you guys taking the time. We know you're busy. We know you're smart, and we just thank you. Thank you.
Amazing.
I'm grateful that you allow us to participate. Love you
It's
guys.
good stuff. All right.
Yeah,
Thanks,
well,
Jay.
appreciate
Thanks,
it.
everybody.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Paul.
Have a
Thank
good
you,
night.
Joe. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Ty. Thank you all so much. That was really, really informative. I sure do appreciate it. And by the way, now what is going on over here? Let me get rid of, we don't really have, we might do
Technical problems abound, Jay.
All right, I'll see you
Have a
guys.
good night.
Good night. Thank you so much. Okay. And that is the end of the meeting. So okay, that show's over. This is DIESELGEDDON may not be here yet, but at least we now have information that this is not a short spike. at Memorial Day, right? I don't think so. And of course, what do you think? Do you need that fuel surcharge calculator? What other information would help you in decision making, uh, discretionary income? The thing is, it seems like there's never a time to save money. And we also know there was a spending spree during COVID like we hadn't predicted. And I also believe I'm pretty sure there was plenty of fuel 2 years ago to go around, and then here we are. So we had to talk about it. It's a topic. It's important. We appreciate you taking the time to stay with ATI. Thank you for your support. Really do appreciate everybody in the live chat. Thank you, Super Dispatch. Thank you, Candy at Seaport Service. If there's anything we can do to help you, your company, product, services, right? I knew once I asked what Wawa was, and then I heard what it was, I realized, yeah. Suddenly, that's when I wanted a cheesesteak. I'm hoping I'm close on that. Next week, my goal is so this coming weekend is Memorial Day. Gas prices are going to be through the roof. That means everyone's going to be sitting home watching ATI. My goal is to Tuesday night do a pretty incredible show, but I have a lot more work to do. So that'll either happen or it won't. And then I don't know what we'll do. We'll figure it out. But I'm still on the move. I'm going to be on the move for a little while, and I know you're on the move too. And so thank you so much for taking the time every Tuesday night. Let us know how we can help you. We have DOT compliance. We're now doing live carrier advice. It's basically DOT compliance 2.0. So live carrier advice will be on June 1st, not tomorrow. Dispatching live, not Thursday, not the next Thursday, not for a couple weeks. But we're going to do Cars on the Move on Friday because I got to do some of these shows on the move. It's important. We've got to keep the community together, keep the information flowing. But at the same time, we're not doing shows just to do shows. And that's why this isn't the everything show. Not once did you hear me talk about avocado pies or how to fix a vacuum cleaner or whatever random stuff. It's an automotive business channel with a focus on the transportation aspect, because transportation is so important in automotive. Heck, it's the purpose of automotive. But vehicles need to be picked up, delivered, and maybe they need to be taken to a terminal, whether it's a private individual, it's a fleet management company, new cars, used cars, OEMs, auctions, dealers. Transportation gets talked about at times, but I hear it. I can hear it. Transportation gets brought up. Yeah, but let's go ahead and talk more about the dealer because that's where I'm comfortable. Or, yeah, let's go back to the OEM. Oh, man, let's stay on transportation. It's a very important topic. And by the way, and we know this too firsthand, it's not easy for transportation to get a seat at the dining room table with all the record profits. So we're here to help do that. It's important. And the cost and the requirements of the driver and the carrier keep going up and up. We haven't even talked about what happens when you're the first. Let's say you win that bid with the OEM on the 100,000 vehicle move. And then suddenly they double production, and that second 100 goes to the spot market and pays double what your bid got. We haven't even talked about that. There's a lot to talk about. This is ATI, it's Car Show Business Channel. My name is Jay. Every Tuesday night, our goal is to bring you another trade show level business presentation to you wherever you are. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chris and Dennis and Jay, Ty, the live panel, everybody. Really appreciate it. Let us know how we can help you. Send in the news. Send it to autotransportintel@gmail.com. Join the other live shows, live chats, etc. And we'll see you on the flip side. Thank you so much. Stay safe. Maybe don't drive as much. Just try to drive. You know what? Ty says it. Short mile, long dollar. More than ever before. Take care, everybody. Talk to you soon.